Poker Face Season 1 got top of the stack, and then that's the rest of this lineup. And James's salad dressing was made with this sauce mixed with sour cream. And I'll show you his little pumpkins it has. There's a fancier one, and the other one has rice and stuff in.
Is that a curry
then,
sort of?
Yeah. So he has a couple different flavors to choose from. And before I review the movies, I'm gonna sing a little song that I wrote, and see if you like it. I wrote this one on February 5th, and it's called God's Will Be Done. And I'm just gonna make up a tune because I don't have one already. Popes all have their own opinions, as I guess you'd think they would, regarding how to guide their minions and what God would think is good. Some are really quite judgmental, others leave that up to God. Each pope's old-fashioned, sentimental, new ideals would mark a fraud. In the past, some popes seemed evil, burning witches in God's name. But now their reign is not medieval, and their God's not held to blame. Every pope that God selected is his emissary here. Infallibility's expected, though they're fallible, that's clear. Most consider popes misguided when they've made mistakes. They're men. When you're absolved for sins confided to your priest, God's good again. Is it God who is forgiving sins as men commit each one? Men keep on sinning as they're living. Live and sin, God's will be done. I hope you like that one.
You know, the popes weren't always infallible.
Oh.
But they came up with some, I presume it was a papal decree.
Yeah,
we're infallible.
Yeah.
No.
Probably was. But anyway, that's just a song. So, Poker Face Season 1, wow. This was great. I didn't expect it to be, but quality actors throughout, quality storytelling. This is basically like Columbo mixed with The Littlest Hobo. And maybe they were aiming for Columbo mixed with The Fugitive, but you know what? Columbo mixed with The Littlest Hobo is pretty awesome. Maybe better than Columbo mixed with The Fugitive. So anyway, what you have here is, I mean, nowadays Columbo might not sell actually, but you give her some Tina Turner hair and
a toothpick is that in there?
Yeah, and a fast car and some crime-solving abilities, you know, to turn Columbo female, and this is saleable like crazy right now.
So people take her for granted, eh? They think she's a dumb off blonde or something like that?
Well, I don't know. Okay. I mean, I don't want to give anything about this story away. It's very good. So, I think
that was the appeal of Columbo. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, his face was more rumpled than his trench coat. And I think he was short. He gave that impression.
Yeah, and she's very short. You can tell she's just a petite little thing. And anyway. So yeah, that might be part of the appeal too. The stories are great. This isn't, like it says at the bottom, the crime show of the year. And very well, maybe. This is not a mystery show. Not all crime shows are mystery shows. In this, you know who does it within the first 15 minutes. It starts with that, and then you get more of an explanation afterwards, and it's just artfully set up. I love it. And not all the stories are believable. Like,
well, it is TV.
Sure. Like the one with in the elderly care center, there is no way that, I don't care how strong your arms get, wheeling yourself around, which the woman doesn't seem to do much of that at all. Her friend wheels her around anyway.
Is this spoiler alert time? Oh, you're saying it's, after 5 minutes. Sorry.
After, yeah. But there's no way that a woman in a wheelchair is going to be able to pull herself up a lattice where vines are growing outside the window to the next floor up. And
especially a woman.
No. It's ridiculous.
But a guy might be able to do it.
It's still a great story. Yeah, well, that's just it. If they'd made it a man, it might have been more believable, because women don't have the upper body strength. No. They don't. And even if you're really working it out, you're still a woman. Your muscles aren't designed for upper body strength.
Well,
your
unless there's some
designed
heavy use of steroids, you get the steroid abusers, like, who's that?
I don't think they'd be feeding people in an elderly care center steroids so that they could build up.
Well, I think sometimes there's this idea of people will treat themselves with human growth hormones to maintain their muscles as they're getting older. I think it's a bad idea.
But yeah, I don't honestly know which my favorite story was, because there's Chloe Sevigny, or whatever her name is, from...
Sevigny? Is it a French name?
Well, probably. I don't know,
Yeah,
Jane.
Sevigny.
Well, she was the woman that everyone loved to hate off of Big Love. And if you've watched my reviews in the past, I love Big Love, and I didn't watch it right away. Well, everyone was talking about it. I was like, why would anybody want to watch a show about a Mormon family? Or, and then I watched it and I'm like, oh, that's why, because they did a great job. So,
you know what I like the best about it was that little Weasley polygamist, the guy who had all these women.
So you like the husband of the story?
Pretty accurate. I've known a few Mormon guys that were not necessarily polygamous. I sure hope not, but kind of small and Weasley like that.
Anyway, but there was a story with her in it, and she had some pipes on her. I didn't realize she could rock like that, but the songs that they gave her, not up to par. They're just silly songs. A lot of people have silly rock song lyrics, and they manage to make big hits, whatever. But I like the way that they showed how the guy came up with his lyrics. That was funny, but they didn't really make sense. It was kind of like found art. Anyway, but there's also a story with Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it, and I love him too.
Oh, so, he's the guy who was a child actor.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yep. So I want to see him in more shows. He's been underused and undervalued, and that has to change, because he is a top-notch actor.
My favorite was when he played a Hutterite. I don't think that was a big hit.
That. But yeah, so this stars the woman on the cover. You may not recognize her in this, although this is an artfully created cover. I love that her car is in her one glasses lens, and her other glasses lens, the toothpick matches up with the line in the road. It's awesome, right? So this is really beautifully created, and they've kind of airbrushed her. Whatever. So that's Natasha Lyonne.
Leone?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
It's got an E on the end?
It does.
Yeah, it could be.
So anyway, she's, I didn't recognize her name or anything like that, but she's the woman that was, what was that? Orange is the New Black? She
was in that?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever watched a issue or a...
Oh, you didn't watch it?
An installment of that. It was kind of going on in the background.
Okay. Well, I liked it. Anyway, so, yeah, I highly recommend everyone watch this. It's great. And the rest of these, not so much. And honestly, I expected this to be top of the stack. When I saw this on the cart on the return cart at the library, Bing Crosby, Grace Kelly, Frank Sinatra, I'm like, oh my gosh, Grace Kelly and Bing Crosby, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And I mean, I love both of those
Did
people.
their bingo have a singing part?
Oh, of course, they
Oh,
all
there we
did.
go.
They
Oh,
all
snotty,
did.
snotty Frank.
Yeah, and the makers of this movie, High Society, they did a great job with
There's Louis
how
Armstrong.
yeah, he's in there too. So like I said, I thought this would be top of the stack. But this is way far down from this one,
Well, Grace
even though
Kelly
it's second
wasn't
in the
much
stack.
of an actress, was she?
Well, I liked her.
Well, she's
I mean,
good
when
looking, but
she's the perfect people's princess. They all,
course.
Diana came out and people were like, "Oh, the people's princess." What? Grace Kelly. Come on. She was just regular people. Became a princess. People's princess.
yeah,
So-
Diana was a member of the aristocracy.
There
if I'm
you go.
mistaken.
So, people's princess?
Born to privilege.
Really? So, anyway, Grace Kelly, she looks awesome in Rear Window against,
Jimmy Stewart's craggy face.
no.
Okay.
I love Jimmy Stewart.
Well, I mean, he's not a looker. That's all I'm saying. He's not a Cary Grant
Well,
Or
I
Brock
love
Hudson.
Jimmy Stewart.
Well, he's a
So
good actor,
anyway,
but-
she looks great with their perfect pair because they're both very thin. So neither one of them makes the other one look like a skeleton. But here, Grace Kelly, I mean, they have her in bare feet dancing with Frank Sinatra at one point because she would have towered over him
Oh, is that true?
with heels on, right?
Yeah, okay.
So you see her bare feet dancing and you're like, oh
that's
yeah, they
hilarious.
had her dance.
That's for Frank. He's,
Yeah.
he's such a vain little.
And
idiot.
honestly, she just looks way too thin in this because it's not that the other people are overweight. They're not. They look good, but she looks very thin against them. That's all, and doesn't look well. She doesn't look well matched with them, with either of these guys.
Oh, they're bingo.
Yeah.
Both of those guys had put on a few pounds. Frankie used
Well-
to be skeletal.
Yeah, well, anyway. So, what I was going to say, the makers of the movie handled this well, the singing stuff, because you know that Bing Crosby, his voice is way better than Frank Sinatra's.
Absolutely.
Like, if they're singing together, there is no way that Frank is going to be able to hold up his end. So
he does
what
a
they
better
did,
job than David Bowie did with Bing Crosby. Have you ever heard that song? It's a Christmas song.
oh yeah, that was
it's
bad.
a medley. It's
So
awful.
anyway, they have Frank Sinatra singing with Bing Crosby while Frank Sinatra's drunk. So then it's an excuse for not singing as well,
Yeah,
right?
there we go.
Very good. So they've handled that very well. And when Grace Kelly is singing, she's drunk too. So there
Did she
you
have
go.
a
It
pretty
worked
good
out.
voice
And
then?
well, it was okay. Better than I thought it would be.
Better than
but-
Snotty Rose, yeah.
No. But I mean, when she was singing, she was drunk, and it was fine. And when Frank Sinatra had his first song, he was singing with another woman with an amazing voice, and I meant to remember her name because she was so great. It could have been Celeste Holm, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. She's co-starring on here, but I don't know which one she was. The one who sang with him, who was his photographer, whatever, the reporter's photographer. But she had an amazing voice. So the makers of this movie handled it well. They always had somebody that was singing that either had an excuse for not holding up their end, or or somebody that could carry the song through. So that was great. It's just I didn't like the movie that much, and I didn't think these people were suited together. I honestly didn't like Bing Crosby's song that he did with Louis Armstrong. I didn't think Bing Crosby did a great job with him.
Okay.
They just, the people in this movie that were paired together, they just weren't
They're
right
misfits,
for it.
huh?
They were mispaired together. They shouldn't have been paired together. That's all. So this one didn't work for me.
One of the worst mispairings I've ever seen was Frank Snotrag with Elvis Presley back in the day. About
Oh God, that'd
60.
be terrible.
Well, I mean, Presley just blows them out of the water
Yeah.
in terms of pipes.
Yeah.
And, they didn't get him drunk. I don't think he drank at that point.
Well, anyway, Magnificent Obsession. So I've watched this before, this 1954. And honestly, it's not worth watching once, let alone again. I don't know why I watched it through the second time here, but I'd forgotten I'd watched it. I put it on and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And it stayed on. But, yeah, I just, as much as Rock Hudson, holy moly, he was handsome.
He was.
Yeah.
He started to put on some pounds later on, but a very handsome guy.
But
Big
yeah,
jaw.
I just didn't care for the movie. It's
Well, I mean,
basically it's about you know, getting yourself connected to God, basically, or the power of God, and do good without people knowing that you're doing it. And that's a good message to have. You know, just keep keep trying to do nice things without people knowing that you're doing nice things. It's a nice thing to do.
Poor Rock. I mean, the best acting job he ever did was pretending he was an actor. You know?
Yeah.
It would be embarrassing being up on the screen, you know, and not having the chops. 1954.
So, Cannonball Run. Wow, this was bad. This was basically like a big advertisement. And
Is
I
that
guess,
a remake or is it the original from way back when?
oh, this is original. This was 1981, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
The guy who he claims he invented the mustache look for, he claims to be
He
a
very
mentor
well might
for
have been.
Selleck.
Because honestly, I hadn't realized how big Smokey and the Bandit was. But then I read the back of this, and Smokey and the Bandit, Smokey and the Bandit 2. So they did another one, and I was like, why would you do another one? But I watched Smokey and the Bandit. I reviewed that a while back. But then they did this Cannonball thing, and this apparently was, it says on the back, the Cannonball Seated Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, anything goes, all stops out, and thoroughly illegal competition that has grown to legendary proportions. This is an actual event, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Cannonball. So that's kind of crazy, but
well, I can see they've cast Farrah Fawcett Majors in a major role there.
Yeah, they did.
And
yeah.
She was just a big shark toothy smile, as far as I can.
Yeah.
And big hair. She had big hair.
Yep, she sure did.
Big smile, big hair.
But there were a lot of actors in this.
Well, that's Dom DeLuise, if they did an accurate sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's not.
And that's Klinger from MASH.
Is it?
And Jackie
Is he
Chan
playing
was
an
in
Arab
this.
there?
Yeah, Jackie Chan was in this, and
Klinger.
I'm wondering if this was maybe Jackie Chan's first big role or something. But he did a good job.
Okay.
But I mean,
that's Dean Martin there, is it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
And that is Roger Moore. I thought it looked a bit like him. You know, not much of an actor, but
yeah. So
good
anyway,
and very comic-like roles.
I just didn't care for it. But
yeah, it's Dean Martin. There's Sammy Davis Jr. somewhere.
Surely
there
you
he
got
is,
enough from watching Smokey and the Bandit. Why another one? But I guess some people really go for this stuff.
Oh, guys would have loved
and there
this.
was,
It involved
just
fast
shameless
cars
advertising, like Hawaiian Tropic. On the hood of a car, or it was on the dashboard, maybe the hood too, and the side of the car, and then it was on like a window behind the car. Like, it's just too much. Anyway.
Yeah. I can remember that title. I don't think I've ever seen a Burt Reynolds movie, and I don't feel deprived in those.
So the Winchesters, the complete first season, well, I expected this to be higher in the stack, but this was so bad. This deserves bottom of the stack, but these ones are just that bad that this happened to get above this. The acting in this is worse than the acting in Supernatural. And honestly, the actors that, especially Dean, the one who played Dean Winchester, but both of them.
He was hilarious.
Yeah, both of them really, man. They're no better than, they should be. They're
not even good university actors.
No, they
Junior
should.
college, maybe.
Oh, so terrible.
High school.
Yeah, they're really bad actors. So really, they're only maybe Sears fashion models, or
There we go. I bet you that's what both of them did.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, somehow we still love Supernatural, but they managed to get in Supernatural. They managed to get the music was
The
awesome.
retro music.
Yeah, so that was great, and you had them driving around in the car, which was great, and
It was a retro car, wasn't it?
it was,
There we
yeah,
go.
and the lighting was good. They had everything
Oh,
happening. That's okay.
Yeah,
It's
here's-
melting, so things
I
are
landed
falling
on
off.
white snow. Then.
Yeah. So it's the lighting was good, so things seemed scarier, right? It was always dark and
Yeah.
you know, building the
I
suspense
liked how
and all that kind of
the
stuff.
title was typewritten, old-fashioned.
I
Oh,
don't
did you
remember
notice
that? I don't remember.
I
But
think they
anyway,
did. Anyway.
yeah, Supernatural. We kept watching it. So,
Yeah, it was. I
but
think
this,
more me than you
I
that
can't
liked it.
see watching the second season after watching this first season. This was terrible. These actors are terrible. And although the guy that basically, I'll give you the idea. This sets place in the 70s.
Oh, so it is kind
so
of
it's
retro.
the parents.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
parents of Dean and Sam. And you know, they haven't gotten together yet, but you can tell they like each other right away and all this sort of stuff. But they have John, their father, coming out of the military, and yet he seems like more of a cat than Sammy. So not a tough guy like he later is in the show. He's a real tough guy. He's like a survivalist. But yet in this show, he's a total wimp. And the mother is the tough chick. And it's like, didn't get that impression in Supernatural. It was the other way around, you know. But I guess the makers of this are thinking, oh, well, tough chicks are popular right now, and it doesn't work. You already built up the characters in Supernatural. You have to stick with what you have. And plus, the survivalist types that his father was, he wouldn't have been hanging around with a total flamboyantly gay Hispanic man with like beautiful hair, but no acting ability.
Oh my God.
It's ridiculous. He wouldn't. The survivalists. I don't think there's a survivalist in the world who would hang around with somebody who was really flamboyantly gay.
I don't think he'd survive with other survivalists. Yeah.
No, I don't think
Probably
he would.
slaughter him.
Yeah. So I don't know what kind of alternate universe this is that these people are in, but this doesn't conform to Supernatural, the characters in Supernatural. It just doesn't. So however much you might have wanted to make a show that has a whole bunch of different races and
One of those.
a really very gay guy and all sorts of whatever, this doesn't work.
Try to come up with
Make a
something
different show.
realistic, Hollywood, please.
So this doesn't work for this show, and the lighting is bad. They have things happening in the daylight, so it seems less scary. The music that you know that Sam and Dean were raised on, because they're listening to it in their dad's car while they're driving it around.
Mm-hmm.
They're not playing it in this. They're playing Wimposaurus 70s stuff.
Oh, well, that's what the 70s really was about.
Yeah, well, it wasn't for Sam and Dean
No.
or his survivalist dad.
Well, there was
So it
there was
doesn't
this
work. None of
underbelly
this
of
works. This sucks.
there was the underbelly of hard rock. You're right.
So, all you ever wished for. This was terrible. This is a story about finding love and, you know, fairy tale magic kind of love.
One guy looks a little bit
There's
like a young
one guy who's
Trudeau.
in love with a cow. It doesn't work.
Okay.
It's bad. So yeah, that one's not worth watching. Landing Lake. This is a very art school project sci-fi horror movie. Don't worry about that. I'll get it because I'm going to
I
be
just
putting.
don't want mice to do.
Okay.
It has
Yeah,
this,
got a major problem with it in
yeah.
recent times. Don't want to again. So there goes the blue jay. He came to get some food and he didn't even make a noise. He just went and ate it.
Yeah,
there.
usually he announces
Usually he
his presence.
yeah, but I
I think
guess
it's more like
maybe
telling
his
the
friends
others.
have all the other they have food, and he's like, you guys have plenty of food. I don't know what his reason was for not telling everyone to come.
Maybe he's going to do that
'Cause I
again.
put
He
lots
doesn't want
out
to
there.
share. Well,
Oh, maybe. It's not
but
like that.
that's
no.
not like him.
No, he's a very.
He seems like a good guy.
He's a
I'm
good
telling you.
guy.
He's pretty
Love
vocal.
that
He's
food
like
too.
that great parrot. What was his name?
Alex.
Alex.
Yeah. So anyway, this is terrible. So terrible. Nobody would want to watch it. That's all I had to talk about. You have anything?
Yeah. I wish I had something funny to talk about. I did read the last words of that great parrot.
Oh, you
It
did?
was, "You be good. I love you.
Hmm.
And then you'll be back again tomorrow morning or something."
Yeah. Poor
And
guy.
he died overnight.
Yep.
I'm not sure how he died.
Well, you'll find out. So you have 3 minutes about. Do you want to talk about anything?
Nah, I don't want to talk
Okay.
about something.